14 minutes past 6, the Home Office has been accused of having a shockingly cavalier attitude towards detaining people in immigration removal.
The number. Can she tell the House how many have been detained as prisoners in their own country?
Flights were temporarily suspended at Stansted Airport last night after anti-deportation protesters locked themselves to a plane.
Where there are people who are here illegally, it is right that we do try to remove them.
The High Court has ordered immigration officials to suspend the tactic of removing people from the UK with only 3 days' notice.
The creation of a hostile environment. Who were the first people to use that phrase?
They're getting big payouts from the government because they're being detained unlawfully by the Home Office.
Future. I feel like I don't have a future right now.
It makes me feel like I've got no value, nothing going on, anything in my life. I'm just at a hole.
My name is Lukman Onukosi. I'm 38. I came to the UK when I was 27. I've been fighting for my case for 8 years now.
Lukman's battle to remain in the UK is a fight to stay alive. He came to Brighton from Nigeria in 2007 on a student visa. Halfway through university, he was diagnosed with hepatitis B, a life-threatening liver condition requiring intensive medical support, which he can't access in Nigeria. In 2011 and then in 2012, both his brothers died of the same condition back home. Lukman's application to remain in the UK on medical grounds was rejected by the Home Office, and he's still fighting his case today. One certainty in Lukman's life is volunteering at a local migrant cafe every Tuesday.
People are socially isolated, particularly precarious migrants and refugees are socially isolated. So having the places like Jollof Cafe at the Cowley Club basically allow people to be able to come out, to come to this space and then socialize, and at least one day in the week, where they can socialize and make new people and actually get appreciated for the kind of voluntary work they're doing and the kind of food they're cooking and all those kind of things.
More than 40 people went to support Lukman at his first immigration hearing in court last year. Jacob was one of them.
He's loved, and he gives a lot of love. It's not, people weren't there in court because he's a great political organiser. People are there in court because they love him. He's a really valued member. I love him dearly. But he's not just a close friend to lots of people, he's an important part of a big network of people, and what he does for the town it's quite unbelievable.
With an active immigration case, Lukman can't work or study. He lives in emergency council accommodation and by law has to report to the Home Office every 4 weeks.
I came down to Croydon today to sign on at the Home Office. I do this once every month.
We've just left Lukman. He's currently inside that massive building. He was visibly really anxious this morning. His mind was all over the place. He doesn't know how long he's going to be in there for. It could be anything from 15 minutes to 2 hours. He could be interrogated. He just doesn't know what the outcome's going to be. We worked out earlier that he's been coming to the Home Office every month for the last 12 months over the last 8 years. That's nearly 96 times. On this occasion, the visit went smoothly. Lukman was in and out in 20 minutes. For now, it's back to Brighton. But he'll be back every month for the foreseeable future, battling his case and his health.
Future. I feel like I don't have a future right now. The future I have is the future of an anxiety, I can't think ahead. I can't even think beyond what my day is.
But Lukman's case is only half the story. Fighting to remain in the UK on human rights grounds puts Lukman at risk of enforced removal, whereas foreign nationals with criminal convictions can face a deportation order. To better understand the difference between the two, I went to meet Celia Clark, who provides free legal advice to detainees.
Removal is an administrative process. If you're deported, that's criminal deportation. Following the promulgation of the UK Borders Act in 2007, which came into force in 2008, there came into force an automatic deportation provision for any foreign national with a sentence of 12 months or longer.
Between January 2016 and May 2018, 3,893 people were deported from the UK on private charter flights. In March 2017, a group of anti-deportation activists, the Stansted 15, chained themselves to a charter flight deporting 60 migrants to Africa. The flight was stopped, but the group were found guilty under UK terror law. Melanie Strickland is one of them.
Charter flights are the most brutal aspect of the hostile environment. They happen at a remote part of Stansted Airport in the middle of the night. No public scrutiny. There's no one. The only people that see this part of the airport are VIPs, very important persons like celebrities, very rich people, and detainees. And I did my research. I found out that people are often shackled on the coaches from the detention centres and taken to the airport. People can be tranquilised. People can be taken in chains or in waist restraint belts and dragged up the steps to these private charter planes.
But if someone's being deported because they broke the law, how sympathetic can we be? We're heading to Manchester to meet Owen, who's fighting a deportation order from the Home Office. Like Lukman, he can't work, study, or claim benefits. But there's one crucial difference. Owen's status is due to his previous criminal record.
I'm Owen Hazley, I'm 45 years old and I've been in the UK for 41 years. I've been fighting my case with the Home Office for just under 4 years now.
Arriving in the UK aged 4 from Jamaica, Owen was granted indefinite leave to remain. He's a dad to 3 young British kids, but despite growing up here himself, Owen doesn't have British citizenship. He's legally classed as a foreign national. In 2015, Owen was convicted for domestic assault, serving 16 months in prison. And in February 2019, he was unexpectedly detained whilst reporting at the Home Office. Owen was due to be deported from the UK on a charter flight to Jamaica on the 6th of February 2019. With an hour to go, he was pulled off the plane. He's currently on immigration bail and could still be deported.
Oh, you're right, Laura. Come through.
He's forced to rely on friends and family. I went to meet him at his cousin's house where he's been crashing for the last month.
This is the bedroom. It's a bit of a mess, so I'll just quit. Yeah, this is the bathroom.
I asked Owen how he felt about having to rely so heavily on family members.
It's a bit basic, honestly, makes me feel a bit worthless. And I'm gonna say that like when I sit and think about it, and it makes me feel like I've got no value, nothing going on, anything in my life. I'm just at a hope. I can't, the fact that I've been working since I was 17 years old and it's stopped.
If you like, the Home Office has kind of pressed the pause button.
Yeah. Limbo, I'm in limbo, just in limbo. I'm halted, everything's moving forward. I'm just halted.
Karen's organisation, Movement for Justice, supported Owen and others like him in detention.
These are people who have they're serving a triple sentence. They served the time that a judge thought commensurate for their crime, whatever that might be. Then they serve, on top of that, immigration detention, which has no time limit. So it could be an extra several years on your sentence. And then you're deported to a country away from your family and friends, and often to a country that you've never stepped foot in or been to or since you were a child.
Owen's been involved in the Manchester music scene for over 20 years. Tonight, he's at Unity Radio.
Yo, this is Lethal Bizzle, and you are listening to Unity Radio, the real sound of the city. Dench.
You're listening to so the only thing I have got to do is basically go in the studio, record some lyrics, go and do a live stream, go and support a local event. Yeah, it's just been it's something that I've always done. It's something that it's my sort of therapy, my counsellor, my therapy, my counsellor, my release.
The next day, Owen was invited to attend a meeting at the School of Electronic Music.
It's becoming clear that both Owen and Lookman are really deeply rooted in their communities. Owen's currently being offered a free place on a music production course because people want to help him. The music community in Manchester is rallying around him because they want to support him and they want to help him get his life back on track.
So that's Yulin, that's Dante.
Owen's deportation case is putting a huge strain on his closest family. Back in February, the Home Office told him he could bring his children up over Skype from Jamaica. With the threat of deportation lingering over Owen each week he reports, his boys are constantly afraid that when he walks out the door, he won't be coming back.
They won't leave me alone, like, they just even when it's time for them to go back home, they were like, Dad, we want to stay with you another day, stay with you another day, stay with you another day.
We still know very little about the effect detention can have on a person and their family in the long term. Dr. Christina Curry is a psychotherapist who works mainly with asylum seekers.
That people who come from traumatised backgrounds find that the detention process impacts on almost every aspect of their lives. In essence, their lives are being put on hold. It's a perfect storm in some ways of removing people from all of the elements of life that make for a meaningful life.
We tried to contact the Home Office to ask why both Lookman and Owen's cases have been drawn out for so long, but they refused to speak to us.
Yeah, unfortunately we don't really have the capacity to develop as both persons for an interview for a student project, I'm afraid. We just don't.
You just don't?
Owen's lived in the UK for 41 years, but he committed a crime and he doesn't have British citizenship. He didn't see the need to apply when he'd arrived with indefinite leave to remain.
Even leave to enter the United Kingdom for an indefinite period.
I asked him what he'd say to those who think he has no right to be here.
No, everyone's entitled to their opinions, what they think and stuff, and like, they don't know me personally, like this community here, and I just think I'm never shied about what I done. What I done was wrong. It shouldn't have happened, but it did happen, and I'm not a re-offender. Made a mistake. I've done my time for my mistake. Shouldn't be getting punished twice. No one should.
People being detained have no idea how long they could be held for. The UK is still the only country in Europe that doesn't impose a time limit on immigration detention. Owen's been detained twice since he served his initial time in prison, and there's every chance he could be detained again. Lookman and Owen are two different men with two very different stories, but they're living very similar lives. They're living in a state of limbo.
Whether I win the case or lose the case, I don't know how, if I can get back to how I was before.
Just got to keep moving forward, honestly, because I don't want to stop. That's what I'm worried about. If I stop and just allow it to absolutely contaminate me and sort of do me in, oh wow, I don't know.